Hi, good afternoon, my beautiful viewers. Today's date is August 3rd, 2026. And I did specify a while back. I talk about the Caribbean. I let you know there was some activity coming your way. And as I said, so be it. The British Virgin Islands, the Caribbean got a 4.1, followed by a bunch of like 3.0, 3.1 magnitude. Also, a pretty decent size seismic activity hit the southern part of Puerto Rico. Guys, also 4.6 hit Dominican Republic. This was on land. So I'm sure you guys felt that in DR. I give you the specific location. Now, if you're in Sanchez, Dominican Republic, this is an area not far from, actually, it's more or less north, but it's in Sanchez, Dominican Republic. Pretty big seismic activity was a 4.5, and I'm sure you guys felt that. Also on the eastern part of the North American continent, over there in Canada, right, basically Quebec. Can't really pronounce this place. La Hacienda Lorette, La Hacienda Lorette, Canada. It's basically a place. It's French, so it's Quebec. 2.7 magnitude seismic activity, and I'm sure you guys felt that. That actually was right next to Quebec City. It was literally right next to it. Geographically, I mean, if you're on the ground, it's probably maybe not that close, but geographically, it's like right there. When you look at it from a global perspective, pretty much. And again, um, Venezuela. I told you guys some seismic activity were coming your way. 4.5. Also, Panama City, 4.4, not that far from Venezuela, off the coast of Chile. Seismic activity kicking up. And let me move all the way over here to the West Coast, folks. Northern California, not far from San Francisco, 3.7. San Jose, almost right next to San Jose, 3.6. 3.2 and 3.0. Pretty, guys, what I'm trying to say is that the San Andreas fault line is getting pretty active in the past couple of days, and I've been watching it, especially Northern California, and also extremely south of California, right next to Mexico, and it's something to watch because I really do believe something really, really big is going to happen in California very soon. And again, obviously, a couple days ago, Cascade subduction zone got hit a 4.6, and followed by that 4.6, a 4.5. And really big quakes right now are taking place off the coast of Russia, which is pretty much north of Japan. And I don't think anyone lived there, just a bunch of small islands. So again, northern part of Japan, Mutsu, Japan is where you're going to find most of the big quakes happening right now. And also the southern part of Japan, which is Tsuno, Tsuno. I guess you pronounce it Tsuno. Tsuno, Japan. That's the southern part of Japan. That section is going to be seeing some pretty big seismic activity also. So again, the part of Japan which will get most of the activities, northern Japan, which is Mutsu, Mutsu, Japan, that section of Japan, and the southern part, which is Tsuno, Tsuno. That's a city in Japan. Now, someone messaged me and asked me about the Philippines. All right. Now, this is where you're going to get most of the big activity in the Philippines. All right, guys, I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't remember where they were located at, but let me tell you where the quakes are going to be. So if you're not in this location, I don't think you need to worry too much. If you're not around Sarangani, Philippines, I wouldn't worry too much. Jose Abad Santos, these areas are going to get some seismic activity. So again, Sarangani, Philippines, Jose Abad Santos, these are the areas we'll see some seismic activity over there. In the southern part of Indonesia, Masohi, Indonesia, Masohi, Masohi. I mean, these cities are, I mean, woof, wow. Masawi, Indonesia. Pretty big seismic activity is coming your way. I can hardly pronounce these cities, but I'm trying my best here because I don't speak these languages to roll my tongue the proper way to pronounce these letters. And again, the northern part of New Zealand are seeing some big quakes. I'm not surprised because of the Kermadec Islands. Some big quakes was happening in the Kermadec Island 2 days ago, and I told you, northern part of New Zealand just got hit at 5.6. It's a pretty big quake, man. So, and Fiji and Tonga is taking on a bunch of 5.1, 5.3, a bunch of 5.1 and 5.3 right now. Fiji and Tonga, and a couple of 4.4 and 4.9s, but a lot of fives. So those are pretty decent sized quakes. And again, um, nothing too much for Taiwan. I wouldn't worry too much if I was in Taiwan. Okay, so again, Taiwan, I wouldn't worry too much, and not too much activity in Europe. I wouldn't worry too much, but again, Papua New Guinea, heads up. Solomon Island, heads up. And again, there's a large uptick of earthquake happening off the coast of Russia. This is going to trigger more quakes at the southern part of Alaska. This is also going to send more seismic activity over on the Cascade subduction zone. So Vancouver Island, Canada, quakes are coming. I mean, I think you guys are going to get hit pretty hard pretty soon. Seattle, quakes are coming. Ashford, Washington, Nile, Washington, and Ashford, Washington. That area will be getting hit with some seismic activity. Not too much on the New Madrid fault line. It's not an area where I see much activity anymore, so that's good. I mean, it's one of the most dangerous fault line on the planet, and a lot of people are not aware of that. It's actually the oldest fault line on the planet. Yes, some of the oldest bedrock you could find on this planet. You're going to find them in the Appalachian Mountains. The Appalachian Mountains was actually formed by the plates, basically the Atlantic Ridge pushing the place where the New Madrid fault line is rubbing against each other. The Atlantic Ridge basically push it against each other, which over millions of years actually created the Appalachian Mountains, and that is one of the oldest bedrock on the planet. And believe it or not, places like Arkansas are some of the safest places you can live on the planet if you're up in the mountains. Another safe place you could live is North Carolina is another one of the safest places you could live here in the U.S. when it comes to natural disasters. But North Carolina, not on the coastline. North Carolina up in the mountains. I've met people from North Carolina that live up in the mountains, and I don't remember the name of the city or the town. This is called Ash something. I forgot, but really nice girl. Had a pretty long conversation with her. I actually, believe it or not, I met her through my content. She liked watching my videos, and she lived in that area. And she was telling me how much that she really appreciated the message that I was in my video, and she's telling me the stuff that she and the people that she live around, what they're doing. Their little community, or they have their own garden. They're being self-sufficient. They're in the mountains of North Carolina, and they have their own. They have their own garden. They have their own. I'm not sure about water supply, but I wouldn't be surprised. But it's a community of people. And believe it or not, she's always said, if you ever want a place like that to come and spend the rest of your life or live at, that's something I should think about. And she painted a really, really good picture of it. And it's a dream of mine to actually be completely self-sufficient when it comes to water, electricity, and stuff like that. And I will never quit. That's the dream I'm working towards. Where I'm completely off the grid, because I already know it's not if this is going to go down. It's not if the grid is going to go down. It's a matter of when. And if there's no grid, there's no water. You need electricity to pump water. If there's no grid, there's no gas. If there's no grid, there is basically no food, nothing. So if you can't pump the gas, there's no transportation to take the food anywhere. So, and I know for a fact the grid is going to go down. I'm not saying it's going to go down tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to go down next year or 2 years from now. But the way we live now, it's not going to last forever. Those days are coming to an end very soon. And again, folks, I'm not here to spread fear or try to, um, you know, be a negative person. I'm just a pragmatic realist. I've done a lot of research, and I see the writing is on the wall. It's so clear, and it's really crazy that I can see it so clear, but most people can't. But it's not meant for everyone to see it. I'm fully aware of that. But this is where people should work towards. I think one of the biggest achievement any human being right now on this planet can work towards, any achievement they can work towards to is an achievement to be completely self-sufficient, where they have their own food they can go to and get, they can go somewhere or the garden wherever, and they have their own food that they plant or they store, or have the knowledge of edible plants, which by saying have the knowledge, is buying the right book, hard copy book. Hopefully, you do that, and have that information with you. So in case there's no food, there's food all in the wild, a bunch of them. But for you to know which stuff you can eat, you got to have the knowledge. So you got to buy the right information on that. So I always encourage people to live like that. Again, the Caribbean is going to be a very, very interesting place moving forward. Meaning interesting is like I foresee a lot of crazy weather patterns coming through the Caribbean when it comes to storms, hurricanes, and so forth. Earthquake is another one of them. I see serious earthquake happening on the New Madrid fault line in the coming future, which is pretty close. Also California, I see it happening in Canada. This is going to be a global thing. South America, off the coast of Chile, Central America, I see this happening. Japan, China, Philippines, Taiwan, New Zealand, another part of New Zealand. These places are going to get seriously affected, and in the coming future. And but it's just knowing is basically leverage, especially if you live on the coastline. Which I highly encourage people. If you're on the coastline, you should you should be one of the most prepared person possible, because it's really, believe it or not, is one of the worst places you can live while we're going through the things that we're going through right now with our planet. But of course, you're not going to hear that on the TV. They can't say that because it's, believe it or not, is one of the most expensive places you could live. It's on the coastline. It's just coastline properties are normally expensive, but it's one of the worst places you could live. At the same time, you see the irony there. So, but it is what it is. But anyway, folks, again, thank you for always watching my video. I hope that information I just put out, the Caribbean right now having a large uptick with seismic activity. I list a few places. The West Coast also, again, over there in Quebec, eastern part of Canada, off the coast of Chile is having some big seismic activity. Northern part of New Zealand, Tonga and Fiji, Indonesia, and I did list some place in the Philippines too, and yeah, and also the Aleutian Islands is seeing some big seismic activity, which is going to send activity over there to Vancouver, Canada, and also over there next to Seattle, Washington, over there in Washington States and Oregon, off the coast of Oregon too. So, but as I said, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Stock up on food, folks. I can't say this. Always have some form of food stored in your house. I cannot stress this enough. Learn to be self-sufficient. Create a garden. Buy books on edible plants. I promise you, you're going to use these books. Have a bug out bag for every single member in your family. And actually, what I ask you guys to do, go follow me on and YouTube, also on Spotify. You just type in Nick Thomas Show. It's right here. Nick Thomas Show. Go follow me, guys. Thank you so much.